Yo, 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 Big Cash back up in here. Shout out to Desperate Horseman. He did a nice video and it's titled The Last Kendrick and Drake Video You Would Watch. Let's see what he got, y'all. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Y'all please beware of scammers. There's someone else with a profile picture of my profile picture acting like they're me, and they're telling you to contact them in the comment section. Beware, that is not me. I don't ask for money online. But we about to get into this video. Y'all know I like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
Not one drop that he had ever felt like a...
My bad.
Oh, shit. Are you gonna bring it over here?
Yeah. So A minor would be...
Hit it again.
Holy shit, it's been 1 year.
They be laughing at it. I know they be having fun, yo. The song Like That featuring Future, Metro Boomin, and Kendrick Lamar was released on March 22nd. Yeah, it's been past a year.
Already?
I'm slapping, I'm riding through the back like...
I have a new rule that I'm standing on. If you don't have good music taste, I cannot take our romantic relationship serious. So if I ask you where you were when Meet the Grams dropped, you better have an answer. There have been thousands of videos on this beef, and I know y'all are justifiably tired. But one, this is something we will talk about for centuries. Tell our children about. So it makes sense that we're still reeling in from it all because it still feels so surreal. But also, it all started 1 year ago today. So consider this a birthday party we're throwing to celebrate together, and you don't gotta watch a Kendrick versus Drake video after this one. And in the past year, I realized he's the GOAT. If we're talking...
So he said he gonna do the full breakdown. Let's see what he got, y'all.
Who uses their voice the best in hip-hop history? To me, it's Kendrick. This man had like 50 different voices just in this beef alone. If we're talking beat selection, To Pimp a Butterfly to me is the best produced rap album of all time. And if we're looking through a catalog, who switches it up more than Kendrick? Probably the only person I can think of is Kanye's freaky-ass beat selection. We're talking lyrical ability. I mean, he's gotta at least be top 10, top 5. And all those things I just said, you could argue he's not number 1 in every single category. But what other rapper is consistently at the top in every category? And to me, the category where he destroys everyone else.
Hold on. What'd that say? The only guy on Kendrick's level. This must be a young guy. This must be a young guy. He said NBA Youngboy is the only guy that's on Kendrick's level. There's gotta be somebody that's young. Because NBA Youngboy ain't on Kendrick level. At all, boy. Wordy, bond.
Consistently at the top in every category. And to me, the category where he destroys everyone else, and this is what makes him my favorite artist of all time, he is consistently a human being. You can look through Kendrick's entire discography and find every human emotion. And the way he delivers those emotions with so much honesty is what makes him the undisputed GOAT for me. So when I heard that he was ready to...
He's cooking. He's cooking. We ain't even get the video started. We only 1 minute and 55 seconds in. And he's cooking. He's going into the different personalities and how Kendrick used his artistry to convey his message to the people by being relatable through emotions. This is why when I told y'all the people that I seen at the concert is different type of people. You're going to be looking at people like, you a Kendrick fan? Like, just you're going to be looking at them like, what? Bruh, older people, younger people, people you wouldn't think. That's because he's tapping into different emotions. He's being very vulnerable on these records.
Starts on beef with Drake, a rapper I hated prior to this beef. Man, I got a bum. And the reason for that is if you look at every other mainstream rapper, Childish Gambino, Tyler the Creator, Travis Scott, Kendrick, J. Cole, Cardi, Kanye West, all these rappers that have...
Yo, explain the burger with the water when he said J. Cole. What was up with that? Yeah, I don't want to see that.
Tyler the Creator, Travis Scott, Kendrick, J. Cole.
A dry burger with nothing on it and water. Ew. That Lil Wayne said that. He said something about He said this about Drake. He said Drake orders plain white rice with nothing on it, like just plain white rice, just white rice and eat it. Like no butter, no salt and pepper. He just eat plain white rice. Something up with y'all, man. Something up with y'all. You, Drake and J. Cole, something up with them guys. Something's up with them.
Cole, Cardi, Kanye West, all these rappers that have kind of dominated for the past like 15 years, every single one of them, whenever they drop, it's like a moment. They actually put effort into their art. There's a cool aesthetic, there's a cool music video, there's a concept. So when Mr. Graham is getting more streams than all these current rappers I've mentioned, it's very annoying to me. I've lived through Drake's entire reign, and not one drop that he had ever felt like a moment that I looked back on in life and I was like, man, that was crazy the day that dropped and everyone was talking about it. No, because Drake's moments are more internet stuff. The Hotline Bling meme, the Drake's the type of guy meme, Anita Max win. Embarrassing! These are things I talked about and referenced and quoted throughout my life, but none of these compared to the moments that I mentioned from these other rappers. And that was all the stuff that I hated about Drake before this beef happened. Since it's happened, I've learned so much more. I've learned that when you point out someone's biggest insecurities, their brain starts to spiral out of control and ways to avoid sitting with those feelings. And that's exactly
when you point out somebody's insecurities, they brains start to spiral because they have to sit down with it. They can't sit down with it. Drake has been avoiding who he really is for so long and have been putting on this image of somebody that he's not. Now that it's all out in the open, he's spiraling. He don't know who to be now. That is wow. That was a bar. That was a bar.
And that was all the stuff that I hated about Drake before this beef happened. Since it's happened, I've learned so much more. I've learned that when you point out someone's biggest insecurities, their brain starts to spiral out of control and ways to avoid sitting with those feelings. And that's exactly
that was a bar. That was a bar.
Exactly what happened since Kendrick spoke so directly to Drake's insecurities. The way he is spiraling is something I've never seen before. It's felt like post-beef, every other week, Drake has spiraled in a new way. You got all the cringy Instagram posts, him releasing so many songs and features with no impact, and then rushing a terribly mixed album out. And people don't read into the lyrics of that one song, No Face, from last year enough. There was a bar on there where he said he was talking about rap beef so much, he made his therapist quit. I need y'all to understand.
Oh, for real? Why did bro think this was a flex? My therapist put in a 30-day notice because I keep talking about the beat. Oh! We gonna do a whole video on that. We gonna do a whole matter of fact, we gonna go to No Face because he got some. Y'all know Drake be spilling the beans on some of his tracks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we go, okay, all right. Because I ain't really listening to No Face, bro.
Where he said he was talking about rap beef so much, he made his therapist quit. I need y'all to understand, Drake's therapist is eating good. For him to say no more Drake therapist money, what did Drake have to say to make him quit? The DeMar DeRozan incident, becoming a streamer, the drunken rants, the gambling, steak shit. I always felt like Drake wasn't hated enough prior to this beef, but now that we know all this stuff about him, it almost feels like he's still not hated enough. But at the same time, now that I've learned so many things to hate on Drake even more, I've also learned so many things that I feel like there isn't enough people empathizing for him. Let me preface all this with, I do know that there are plenty of fully formed adult human beings who engage with this beef, but for the younger people that are like my age, and even the older people, because nobody has life figured out, I think we'd be lying to ourselves if we said we don't see bits of ourselves in Drake. To me, Drake is the final boss of conformity. There's plenty of videos where he talks.
Oh, shit. It ain't time to be sympathizing with Drake right now. They just say this is way too soon, bro. I see. Y'all know I don't like watching videos without y'all. I didn't proof watch this. I don't watch videos without y'all. I did not know he was about to go into his little sad bag. Did you see how they be getting us? It be these undercover Drake fans. They be getting us with the first couple minutes of the video. He got me. Dang, he got me. I don't know if I can continue. I'm going to do 4 more minutes. If he's still trying to be sympathetic, I'm clicking off.
about feeling like an outsider growing up, and man, I know how that feels. A lot of people see Drake as this guy who grew up a cornball and started acting a certain way to get that traditional hip-hop image. A guy acting like he really cares about the culture. But I really don't think that's the case. I think Drake really loves hip-hop. I think he really at his core loves black music.
Oh, at least he used to. I think he been compromised. I think that Drake takes what he been through growing up and being not being accepted. His wanting to be those people that didn't accept him, right? He wanted to be them so bad it formed into a hatred. It formed into a deep hate. So it's like I wouldn't say that it was a genuine love towards hip hop for Drake. It wasn't genuine. It was how could I emulate these people? How could I be like this to kind of forget who I am because I don't like who I am? I think it was something deeper than just a genuine, you know what I'm saying? Just a genuine bars, songs, and all of that. I think it's something deep because he didn't have a connection with his roots. That's what I think. I don't think it was real. I don't think it was genuine. I think it's like a he's running. You know what I'm saying? Like he's running from this person. He always wanted to be on this side of the fence, but he wasn't. He wanted to be on the side of the fence where Dennis was at. But that ain't how he grew up. He ain't grow up like that. But later on, as he became this so-called, gangster or whatever, portraying to be this person, he formed a hatred that was deep down inside. It's like, okay, now I'm about to get back at y'all for rejecting me. Now I'm about to start smashing your wives. Now I'm about to start talking to your girls. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we see now. All of that hate coming out that was being brewed from when he was younger.
Music. Now, do I think he's as tough as he acts? Absolutely not. But to act like Drake doesn't know what the core of hip-hop music is, I just don't think that's true. You can see videos of him rapping as a kid. His dad worked for Al Green. His uncle created the slap and bass. Now, I'm not saying Drake is more hip-hop than he is on the theater and acting side of art. I just think he's both. He grew up loving theater and loving black culture. There's nothing wrong with being both. Tupac was both. Tyler, the Creator, is both. The problem with Drake is...
Nah. When Pac rap about his struggles, he lived those struggles. When people rap about their struggle, I remember, who's that? Jay-Z said, you can't talk about it if you ain't live it. Yeah, bro. You see the video. You at the bar mitzvahs, boy. You at the bar mitzvahs. Hitting the little Drake, you know what I'm saying?
His insecurity about it made him conform in a way that he just became the fake thing that he is today. Instead of being both of them, he chose to go insane for 15 years and just be everything. Jamaican, Hispanic, an actor, a tough rapper with mob ties, the guy who cares about Canada when it's convenient. People talk about his...
See, because he don't know who he is. He don't know who he is. He is the guy that's under his mother's wing. You know what I mean?
15-year run like it's such an incredible achievement when to me it just feels desperate. A 15-year-long span of him always being in your face, having something new to drop. Drake was always on your timeline because he couldn't go a year without being the topic of conversation. Now, I don't know everything, obviously. I'm just making my very unprofessional assumptions here. But all I see when I look at Drake is a man who is in a desperate search to feel seen and validated.
There you go. He ain't know how to step. Dennis wasn't showing him the moves yet. You know what I'm saying?
And I'd be lying if I said that at my lowest moments I didn't feel similar. Now, I'm not saying I do the things Drake has done to feel seen.
Oh boy, So you Drake. You Drake. Nah, shout out to you, Desperate Horseman. I still like your video. Respect. You know I gotta throw my jokes in there. Gotta throw my jokes up in there.
Which is why I said that he's the final boss of conformity. But on a much smaller scale, I think everyone can see that same feeling of wanting to be liked within themselves coming out every now and then. Sometimes I go back to old Drake interviews and just listen to see how he was prior to what I think was his downward spiral. It's really the closest thing we have to authentic Drake, and if he ever were to get the acting off of his chest and fully feel free to be himself, I'd be super excited for him. So I admit, I empathize for Drake. So how did I feel when J. Cole said what he said about Drake on Port Antonio?
This nigga is trash.
What an idiot! J. Cole is so much of what makes this beef extra legendary for me. Like, not only did we get the crazy Jake versus Kendrick event, but we also got a little side event that created a lot of conversation too, with J. Cole taking his diss down.
This can't be real. This is AI, my guy.
I actually
You'll always be my friend.
agree with a lot of what J. Cole is saying here, and I praise him.
We are talking about J. Cole's apology. What?
Oh no!
Are you just laughing at him apologizing?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That was
No,
the
you good.
whole-
You good.
Apologize.
The apology was a song itself. The apology was a song.
Like, according to the rules
Yeah.
of hip hop, like, no, hell no, you ain't supposed to do
Yeah.
that. But in real life, you can like take some shit back that you said.
Right.
I relate to that. That's a very human thing to be like, ah, fuck, I said something I shouldn't have. And it's very mature to be like,
Yeah, in real life, like just like Wiz Khalifa said. But in rap, the war of verses, of verbal sparring, nah. You know what I mean? But on some brotherhood stuff, and we trying to unite as a people, and we've been downtrodden, and you know, we need to be uplifted and all that brotherly stuff that, you know what I'm saying? I agree with it. I'm with that. But y'all not gonna be blaming at each other, J. Cole. You and Kendrick ain't about to be at war in the street. You're not about to be hiding behind cars and bushes and y'all seen Dot? What Dot? You ain't gonna be doing that. So you know what I'm saying?
like, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. I know this might make me look weak.
J. Cole, bro. What are you doing, bro?
So what's my problem with Port Antonio? The problem with Port Antonio is my problem with J. Cole's entire existence. J. Cole is the self-proclaimed middle child, and I think that's his issue. He is so open-minded that sometimes it feels like his brain falls out. In his interview with Angie Martinez, there's a part where he says he doesn't want to be labeled a liberal. And I think that's pretty wild when obviously if you listen to how progressive his values are in music, he's obviously not a conservative.
Make up your mind.
I think what went over a lot of people's heads is that Port Antonio at its core is all about J. Cole's love for hip-hop. Their entire first verse is all about how hip-hop helped him when he felt lost. And then the second verse is about how much he hates everything hip-hop has come to, and brings the whole Kendrick and Drake beef down to say, fuck all this drama, let's get back to pushing ourselves musically, jotting down our thoughts because that's what hip-hop is all about. And yeah, you're right, that's what hip-hop is all about, J. Cole. So why are you defending the colonizer? That's why I call this middle child thing he has going on middle childish, because it just feels like he's an indecisive little kid. Why are you dissing Lil Pump and then doing a friendly little interview with him after? Why are you glazing Kanye when one of the songs that you have that has aged the best is about how too much praise has gotten to his head? In this same song, Cole says that Kendrick and Drake only did this beef because they want to be seen as the best rapper, and then proceeded to call himself the best rapper in the same song. And his whole career is like this too.
Dang. Cole, man, you gotta start standing on business, man. You gotta start standing on business.
I don't think there's anything wrong with Cole being Mr. Peaceful. I genuinely think that would make him stand out in a really cool way. But you gotta pick the peace side and stay on there without constantly contradicting yourself. And constant contradiction is what defines Cole as an artist to me. A guy that never really went far enough in any direction. And the one that pisses me off the most is the Drake one. I think most people deserve empathy, and I've tried my hardest to be generous and understand where Jake has come from, but where he comes from does not justify where he is. He is a shitty person. I think J. Cole is one of the most genuine celebrities out there, and that's exactly why it's so frustrating to see his great mind not take a proper stance on defending anything. J. Cole excuses behavior that someone like Kendrick wouldn't. J. Cole is indecisive in ways Kendrick hasn't been, and I think that's the most simple explanation for where they're.
But then you gotta go back to Father Time. I don't think J. Cole had his father. to show him. Then he probably wasn't raised by the streets to show him like, you gotta stand on it. You gotta be a man. A lot of people just raised by the woman. I know I'm gonna get attacked for this, but it is what it is. That's an imbalance. A man ain't just supposed to be raised by one parent. You know what I'm saying? God got it like a man and a woman for a reason. So that's just that. But this is the after effect of being raised by a single mother. I don't think J. Cole had both of his parents. You either could be super de-duper gangster or you could be super de-duper passive. That's the outcome of being raised by one parent. But yeah, I think J. Cole might be suffering from that, even in his older years. May still be suffering. Y'all hear his music, you know?
They're both at right now. I say this with no exaggeration or hesitation. Kendrick Lamar is the realest of all time. He never holds back. If you look at his entire discography, this man has been writing many Meet the Grams verses towards himself for years because he's not afraid to be vulnerable and self-critical. This man has talked about his sex addiction, survivor's guilt, cheating on his fiance, his homophobic and transphobic past, suicidal thoughts, the stories of people he's seen die tragically, and then the guilt he's felt for telling those stories. And that's all just scratching the surface with him. When SZA asked him what the title of Not Like Us means, Kendrick said, "A man who can recognize his mistakes and not be afraid to share the mistakes, can dig deep down into fear-based ideologies or experiences to be able to express them without feeling like he's less of a man. He has values. He believes in something. He stands on something. He's not pandering. This is who us is and Not Like Us." It's just poetic the way that he obviously didn't have Cole or Drake in mind when he explained that, but it describes them perfectly.
They not standing on nothing. Damn. If you glazing them too much, you ain't gonna be able to understand. This is why people was like, no, he didn't answer the question. No, he answered the question right. He answered it fine. He answered it dope. He answered it right. He stood on that. He answered the question perfect. You just ain't gonna get it because you got too much glazing on you. You glazing too much glazing.
This is why last year is the greatest rap moment ever, in my opinion. It feels like the natural climax of hip-hop. I don't think there's ever been a rapper in the history of hip-hop that doesn't have at least one bar about distancing themselves from the fake and then claiming to be what's real. And we live in such a wild time where the two biggest rappers of the past 15 years was the most inauthentic rapper of all time and the realest rapper of all time. Just looking at how far Not Like Us has gone, it's like, wow, man, we gotta cherish this moment. Authenticity won.
My guitar not tuned up, but A minor would be...
I'm sure there's no non-corny way to say this, but in life, most people fall into three categories: Kendrick, Drake, or J. Cole. Some people can look in the mirror and use self-awareness as a weapon. Like everyone else, they fuck up sometimes, but unlike everyone else, they learn from it and accountability is taken when that happens. But most people spend their short lives constantly running away from their truth and put on a performance wherever they go. And the saddest of these three people are the people that essentially nerf themselves because they don't ever stand on what they believe in. They're smart and virtuous enough that those things they believe in are great, but they are stuck sitting on the fence. And that's exactly why I said this is the last Kendrick versus Drake video you gotta watch. I hope you guys enjoyed my perspective on these three rappers.
But then this is also true that people can go through three different stages in their lives as well. But your end one, like what's gonna be your ending? That's why Dot said the last one is better. Hey, look, bro, I love this stuff. I love this stuff because I can correlate, I can make parallels with this beef and life. You know what I'm saying? There's some people whose ending is like Drake. There's some people beginnings was like Kendrick, or some people's endings is like J. Cole. Or you want your ending to be standing on morals. You want to be a better person. That's what your end need to be like. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you childish, that's your beginning. If you're indecisive, that's your middle. But your ending needs to be polished, working towards being polished, working on yourself, confessing your faults, being a better person. You know what I'm saying? So you got the beginning, Well, I'm doing it like this. He's doing it from like a 3D version and, you know, two sides. But the beginning would be Drake, childish as hell. You know what I'm saying? The middle would be like J. Cole, you're trying to figure things out. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure, I don't know which way. I don't indecisive, right? The ending would be, you know, working on yourself. Got your family, got your children, you standing on business, you standing on morals, and you want to have a great, a great ending. You know what I'm saying? But this is, bro, I'm happy this beef happened, man. I'm so happy this beef happened because it's really not just about the beef. It's about life as well. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, great video, Desperate Horseman. You know what I'm saying? I want to see more from you. I haven't clicked on your page, but I'm gonna click on your page and see what else you cooking up with. But that's fine. But this ain't gonna be the last video. This definitely ain't gonna be the last video. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's see what else he cooking up with.
And I hope you choose the right person to be going forward. Don't be a Drake. Don't be a Cole. Be a Kendrick. That sounds so stupid.
On the beat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a fire video. I liked it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna leave a link in the description for y'all to go tap in with Desperate Horseman and y'all go watch it on your own, unfiltered and uninterrupted. Big Kish signing out. I'm going, y'all.